Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Blazer Guy 1983 channel. I just wanted to upload this quick video real fast. This is in regards to a 97 Chevy Blazer with the 4.3 liter V6. This vehicle has 100 and, I don't know if this is going to pick up or not, 136,404 miles. If you look at the odometer right above it, the trip odometer, it says 70 miles. Now, here's my issue. If you look over here at the fuel gauge, the fuel gauge is literally ever so slightly just about to hit a half a tank. Now, the issue I have with that is is it really possible that after only 70 miles, I've used an entire half a tank of gas? Now, sometimes if I shut the vehicle off for a little while and start it back up, it'll register a little higher on the gauge than what it was when I was driving it with it warmed up for a bit. I've also noticed on really cold days that when I first start the vehicle, that the fuel gauge will sometimes read almost a half a tank more than what it should have in it. And then as I drive and the vehicle warms up, within a less than a 3 to 5 minute period, the fuel gauge seems to creep back down to a more accurate reading of where I believe it should be, according to how much driving and fuel that I have in the tank. Now, from what I understand, this vehicle has a 10-gallon tank, or I'm sorry, a 17, no, I'm going to try that again, a 19-gallon tank in this vehicle, from what I understand. And the last time I filled it up, I did a little experiment. I topped off the fuel gauge all the way up to I topped up the tank all the way up to a full tank of gas. Now, the reading on the fuel gauge was right above the fourth of a tank mark, right above empty there at the 1/4 mark. It was right between there and half, but it was closer to the 1/4 mark. Now, I was able to put a little over 9 gallons of gas in it. So that tells me that at around a fourth of a tank, is that telling me that 10 gallons of gas and 1/4 of a tank is an accurate reading? Something tells me that's not correct. So this has had a fuel pump and a sending unit replaced in it, but the vehicle only had I believe it only had 46,000 miles on it. I believe it was also replaced under warranty back under the previous owner. This was a one-owner vehicle, and that's when they replaced it, was under a warranty claim when I pulled the paperwork. Now, as far as if it's ever been replaced since then, that's something I have no idea. I would have to do some checking into that to find out. May not be able to find out. From what I understand, this vehicle was serviced at a Napa garage, Napa Auto Parts, that has the garage built into it for service. So I'm really not certain if the fuel gauge has ever been, or I'm sorry, the sending unit and tank or fuel pump have been replaced since then. I just figured I'd throw that out there. I've read tons and tons and tons of articles about GMs and their trucks, their Sierras, their Silverados, the Blazers. They've all, everything I read up on says that their fuel gauges are wrong. I mean, even just shutting the vehicle off, you can see there from where it was, it moved up a little bit. Now, if I turn the key over and cycle the key again, let's see what it does here. So it bounces all the way up, bounces up, and then it resets. So even now, it's reading higher than what it was. I just don't know. I mean, is that a sending unit? Is it a ground? What is it that I can do, guys? Does anybody else run into this problem? I'd really, really hate to have to go and drop the tank and mess with the sending unit and the fuel pump if it's really not that. I mean, for one, the unit's kind of pricey because you have to buy the unit as a whole. And also, I really don't want to mess with it. The vehicle runs so well, has great fuel pressure, has great performance. I just, curious, is there anything else I can do as far as trying to troubleshoot this fuel gauge besides dumping a ton of money into troubleshooting? I mean, if it's just a matter, I can deal with it where it's at. At least it's reading the fuel. It's not like some of the posts where I've read where it's reading the tank is empty or completely full when it's not accurate. When, for example, I know a friend that has a Sierra full size with the I think it's the 5.7 liter or 5.3 liter. I'm not sure which one it is, but anyhow, his tank, he'll come up with a, low fuel light on, says it's empty, but he has a full tank of gas, and if you start driving the vehicle, it'll eventually start registering on an occasion again. So it's not that bad. I can deal with it where it's at. I'll keep an eye on the mileage. I've never run out of gas. Even when it's all the way down in the orange, it hasn't run out. So Obviously, having more gas than it reads is better, but I would like to kind of get to the bottom of what's causing this. So I'm going to do a quick walk around real fast just to show you what it looks like here. I've done some previous videos on this before. This is it. It's a two-door, so that means the tank is actually up in the back. It's right behind the rear bumper is where the fuel tank is on this particular vehicle. So but yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, like I said, it's a nice looking vehicle, and I'm trying to, keep it maintained and do a lot of improvements on it. I just wanted to also mention that I replaced the rear brake shoes last night on it with some Napa premium shoes. Hopefully that it'll start to stop better. The thing that I was running into was it was grabbing, and the rear right wheel kept skidding. The adjustments are good. The springs and everything were good. It has new wheel cylinders, new brake lines, all the way from almost the master or the ABS module back and across the axle. New drums, new everything. But I was using Pep Boy shoes, and from what I understand, the Pep Boy shoes are known to be kind of crappy from what I understand, and that's what a lot of people have told me. So I put some ceramic premium Napa top of the line shoes that they offer on it. I've never gone wrong with Napa. Anything that I've ever put on the vehicle from Napa, any of my vehicles, has outlasted any other auto parts. So, including their wheel bearings. The Napa brand wheel bearings, which I believe are made by SKF, are phenomenal. I've never had to replace an SKF Napa bearing again after I've put one on. And I have, a matter of 7 or 8 vehicles that I maintain here at my house, and, I've done everything from head gaskets to intakes to brakes, suspension work, you've named it, I've done it. Mostly GM work, but I have worked on imports such as, Volvo, Mercedes. I've worked on some, some import cars like that, so, and Jaguars and BMWs. So I've done lots of different type of stuff. I would definitely not class myself as a mechanic, but I just wanted to mention that if anybody else has had that problem with the rear brakes hanging up, and everything seems right, and it was creating a lot of brake dust. I believe I had organic shoes on here, so I pulled them shoes off. I put a new hardware kit on it, even though the hardware kit seemed fine, like the springs and everything seemed fine, but I replaced them anyway just because I'm done. Like, I just can't put any more money into finding out why these brakes hacked up. You'll clean the brakes, get the dust off them, readjust them, put it all back together, and the vehicle will stop fine for, a few days. And then after a lot of driving and stop and go driving, the rear wheels will start locking up and grabbing and making all kind of horrible screeching noises. And just a extra note to add on to that, and I'm going to cut this video off because it's getting pretty lengthy already, is that I did replace the rear seals, last October, so almost a little over a year ago. So the seals are not leaking. There are no contaminants. The back plates have been cleaned up, sanded down, so there's no grooves. And I've also used low anti-seize on the back of the shoes where they meet the backing plate. So, and the emergency brake is not over adjusted or under adjusted. So everything's fine. I've done enough back brakes to know that, they're installed properly. I just don't understand why they keep grabbing. So now I have these Napa shoes on. Everything seems fine. I'm going to drive it for a few weeks, see what happens. If it starts to act up again, I will put a reply post up to this, another video basically, in an update video to the one I'm making now. One other thing I wanted to ask too, anybody out there that has this Blazer 97 style Blazer base model, when you put these lights on, none of these things light up over here. Now, I wasn't sure if they're supposed to light up. I mean, my theory is they should, because at nighttime, this is black over here. You can't see anything. I mean, turning on the lights, obviously, I'm not an idiot, so I can do it. I don't need the lights. So I was just curious if they were supposed to light up. I mean, because like I said, I would think that these little logos here should have a light in them. Same thing with this section here for the dome light. This is just an alarm, an aftermarket alarm and keyless, or not a keyless entry, but a remote start. And this is an aftermarket rear defroster, because apparently this didn't have a rear defroster, which I thought was odd too, but it doesn't work, so I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. But I also have the aftermarket CD player in here, just a basic JVC. I've put some new Pioneer speakers in this. Sounds pretty good. I mean, for a 97 vehicle, the sound system, I will say, sounds good. So, But that's pretty much it. Like I said, just wanted to get some feedback on the fuel gauge, see if anybody else has had that problem. Drum brakes on this, see if anybody else has had problems with these drum brakes, hanging up and grabbing, and what other people's workarounds have been. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Y'all have a good time, working on your vehicles. And, if anybody has any feedback, I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.